Hello, and welcome to Founder Freedom, From Hustler to CEO, the podcast built for e-commerce entrepreneurs and small business owners who are ready to work less, earn more, and scale smarter. In today's episode, we meet Tom Speight and Garrett Swann, co-founders of Alphix, a men's underwear brand on a mission to bring true comfort and real choice to an overlooked but essential part of the wardrobe. After 30 years in the industry, stints as president of Calvin Klein North America and CEO of To Exist, Tom saw a glaring gap in the market. One size does not fit all, and most brands still develop underwear like it does. Alphix is changing that with 6 weight sizes, 2 distinct leg fits, and engineering for real bodies, not just fit models and algorithms. Today, we're going to explore why men are tired of sizing up just to fit their thighs, how Alphix is making athletic fit a staple in underwear, not just denim, and the brand's product-led mission to ditch saggy seats and droopy drawers. What it takes to reinvent the category when the industry thought it was solved, and how thoughtful design backed by decades of experience is redefining comfort from the inside out. If you've ever been frustrated by cookie cutter sizing, or if you're building a D2C brand that actually listens to its customers, this episode's for you. Let's get into it with Tom and Garrett. Welcome, guys.
Hey, Steven.
Hola.
How's it going?
Well,
It's going great.
That's awesome. Can you guys tell us a little bit about the Alphix value prop to the world?
sure. I mean, you covered a lot of it in the intro, which was awesome. But, when Garrett and I started talking about the brand, we believe that every man should have comfortable underwear that fits as though it was made for him. So that's why we created Alphix with 6 waist sizes and 2 distinct leg fits for a more personal fit without sacrificing style.
That's fantastic. Maybe not every man is thinking about this, but certainly a lot of us do. So what inspired you to create the brand exactly?
Well, Tom and I, we had this kind of a similar idea within 24 hours of each other. He called me one day and said, I had this idea, you and I should do a brand together. And I said, that's funny. I had the same idea yesterday. And it just we were kind of aligned in the same mission. And we started conversations and started chatting about the marketplace and his experience and my experience. And then we kind of really loved this idea of ALPHX, right? That or like the word alpha. And the stigma behind alpha male. And it's like, how can we change that guy? How can we make this guy a better guy, right? So we were kind of fascinated. We were kind of toying with all the concepts, the ideas. And then finally I like this idea of the X chromosome, right? Because we share that with everybody. And so why don't we an X denotes change and it's a chromosome that all people share. So why not do a brand called ALPHX? We took out the A, put an X, and here we are. And it's really about inclusion of all men, and all sizes, all ages, all, sexual orientation, etc. And it just really felt like a brand for all men.
Nice.
And we were able to trademark it, which in our next lives, we both said we're going to be trademark attorneys because
yes.
It's also find something that you can actually trademark.
That is kind of a challenge in today's market. Absolutely. For sure.
And we're not preaching inclusion. We're just kind of keeping it. It's like, we're just inclusive, it should just be like a normal thing.
Right. Like underwear in your drawer.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody, well, most guys wear underwear. There's a few guys that, don't, but
yeah.
We're not pandering to them.
Right.
Kind of judge, but yeah.
Yeah. So you obviously saw some gaps in the marketplace. Why don't you kind of dive into that a little bit that led you to develop Alphix?
I think that was Swann.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So wait, repeat the question again.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
I said you obviously saw some gaps in the marketplace to fit Alphix in. So can you just expound on what the gaps that you're trying to backfill are?
Yeah, despite the number of options in the marketplace, many men are still having a hard time finding the right pair of underwear that really fits and it looks good, right? So we saw this there. We looked at a lot of reviews and a lot of reviews said, guys, the underwear is either too tight, it didn't fit right, blah, 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 this and that. So I think we were that kind of clued us into this idea of the 2 leg widths with the athletic and modern. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to use terms where we didn't kind of body shame men because men are ashamed of their bodies, just like women are, right?
Yeah, sure.
And so we don't talk about it. So I think there was an opportunity to give a wider range of sizes So, and it was happening in the women's space, right? There was like Knix, there was Third Love. It was really about especially for women with bra size, right? And being inclusive of body shapes and sizes. And I don't think there's a lot of brands are not addressing that in the marketplace at all.
Right. So that's what was broken in this marketplace, was that other companies are not addressing custom fit in men's underwear.
Yeah,
right, and also body shapes and sizes, right?
Right.
We don't see we see a size medium model, and that's it. We show every size, all our product, just to give guys a better look and saying, oh, that's how my body would look on them, right?
Yeah.
So
that's brilliant.
And just to add to that, I mean, like there's 185 million men in the US alone with 185 million different body types. And having been in the industry, it's inefficient and broken from the standpoint that, brands fit on a size medium model and then apply algorithms to create the other sizes. And, newsflash, we don't come in algorithms.
Right.
So that's why we thought that there was a big opportunity.
Because all men are created equal, but their thighs aren't.
100.
I've actually gone through that myself in periods when I've been hitting the gym a lot. It's like all of a sudden my jeans don't fit in the thighs.
Absolutely.
Well, and that's one of the things we say. Our underwear it can be worn for gym wear, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact of the matter is that the cotton and modal fabric is actually more breathable than most synthetic fabrics. It's actually better to wear this type of underwear versus a performance underwear, because it wicks. Let's see, what is so that it causes wicking, Tom? Is that what is it, that wicking in synthetics?
Yeah,
it causes wicking.
So polyester or nylon, which is what a lot of performance underwear is made in, is hydrophobic. There are claims that it wicks moisture. Again, this is a personal opinion, and I've spoken to a lot of folks, or we have, that it's hydrophobic because it traps heat and moisture against your skin.
No.
And so we think that cotton, with its absorbency and its breathability, is actually a better option, and the modal adds even more absorbency, and it's naturally antimicrobial. But a lot of it comes down to personal preference as well.
Yeah. So that's pretty interesting. So how would you say that your product solves these types of problems a little bit better than alternative competing products?
Right. So that's why we developed the 6 waist sizes. So we go from extra small to double XL, or roughly a 26-inch waist to 46-inch waist. And then we created the 2 leg widths. And when we started this conversation, we didn't know if people would get it. But when you look at other categories, right, there's slim fit jeans and athletic fit jeans. There's slim fit shirts and athletic shirts. And so the idea in talking to guys with larger thighs, we'd often hear, I have to size up in the waist one size, to fit my legs.
Right.
So we created a modern fit, which is, kind of like a standard contemporary fit, slim in the waist and hips, and has a leg circumference built for a slim to average thigh. And then we created our athletic fit, which is essentially the equivalent of going up one waist size to get the leg. So our athletic fit is actually 1.6 inches greater in circumference than the modern fit per waist size. And I was not good in geometry, I'll have you know.
Yeah.
But so if you're a medium waist and you get a medium athletic, it's like getting the leg in a large with your medium waist. So it allows you to personalize your fit in ways that other brands don't.
I get it. It sounds brilliant. I mean, that clothing, we know that clothing manufacturers are doing all kinds of tricks behind the scenes. So it's great that it's out in the open, right? For people to see, because men buy logically, right?
Of course.
We shop logically.
Absolutely.
So this is a good question. So now that you've explained the features of the product, so what do you think is the biggest misconception that people might have looking into your brand who have never purchased from you before?
Well, at the end of the day, underwear is just underwear, right? And really what men want is a few things: quality, fit, and comfort. That's all. That's what they're there for. And it's in the underwear game, that's really like the 3 top And you get that from if you ask any guy what he wants in a pair of underwear, he will say, I want underwear that fits and that's comfortable, right?
Yep.
But quality really plays in this, because if you can purchase underwear that you can go, buy the Fruit of the Looms or the whatever at Walmart and get a 3-pack, but your product's going to fall apart within in a very short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Where with purchasing a product like Alphix, because of the construction, the type of fabrication, everything that we really went into a lot of details with, like that they're soft, they're durable, they're eco-friendly, you get what you pay for, right? At the end of the day. And you can pay 20, you can buy underwear on Amazon for $5, but it's not going to last you very long. Right.
No.
And so we really wanted a quality product. That was what was really important to us. It's really about men feeling comfortable in our product, because we have the contoured patch, we have no bulk in our leg bindings, we have tearaway labels, we have our locker, we have all these little features and benefits that keep them interested in our product.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
And just to add to that, because I think you did a great job answering that, Garrett, thank you. The biggest misconception, to summarize kind of what Garrett said, is that underwear is underwear, right? And we like to say the adage, you get what you pay for, kind of holds true here. So, if you buy, a lot of guys, just don't think about their underwear, and you even said that. But when you think about it, it's the first layer you put against your skin, right? So if your underwear doesn't feel right, nothing else that you put on over it is going to.
Right.
So it's worth thinking about.
Absolutely. I like it. I agree. So 100%. So I can relate.
I mean, we can all have a risky business Tom Cruise moment,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and slide down the hallway in our underwear and sing a song. So
yeah, but they better not be your whitey tighties.
Yeah.
Today.
And you'll notice how high the rise is on underwear if you watch the movie again.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So those are great points. So is there like a particular success story, maybe about a customer or about your mission that you're accomplishing, that you'd like to share with the audience today?
Sure. So we were just talking about the fact that when Garrett and I started this, we didn't know if this notion of an athletic leg and a modern leg would resonate. And so we're thrilled that roughly 35% of our sales is coming from that athletic fit. So it's clear that he gets it. And our product return rate, and we have a liberal return policy, relatively speaking, is under 10%, which is huge in the e-commerce industry, given that you can't try something on.
Right.
And, our aggregate product reviews are 4.6, just in total. So, and then, I love this one customer review from a guy named James K that was like, I'm going to read this to you. The 2 leg sizes is genius. I'm a 32-inch waist and used to buy 34 to fit legs no more. So we couldn't have paid somebody to come up with the better.
But the best comment I got from a consumer was, I forgot I was wearing underwear.
That's good too. Yeah. That's awesome.
Mean, when you're that comfortable and you just forget that everything's being lovely and cuddled, you're good. You're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome that you guys are trying to get your piece of the underwear market, because it's certainly overrun with some old enterprise companies that could definitely give up a few customers for the betterment of our undies.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
So looking ahead, do you guys see any trends that are shaping the future of ALPHX as you try to grow it out?
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of trends go towards the more like XL, double XL, the larger sizes. That's the fastest growing in the market, because the average size waist in the United States is 40 inches, which we were so surprised to find. I think the average size that's bought is a 34-inch waist. So probably medium large is probably your average. But I think there's a growing market in the bigger guy space, I think, for sure. And even smaller size space. There's a lot of, guys that are younger that are smaller in size that they're not represented. My husband being one of them, he's a thin guy. He has trouble finding underwear that fits him or pants for even that matter. I think our really emphasis is on comfort and fit. We want our consumers to increasingly prioritize their underwear that offers enhanced comfort and a better fit. And
Right.
there's all these new fabrics that are coming up, but we want to keep them as natural as possible, keeping the most sustainable fabrics like cotton and bamboo and things that are going to last a long time, but at least we know that they're good to the planet.
Yeah. No, I see a lot of bamboo in the European marketplace in clothing.
And to Garrett,
No, for sure.
about the
And, we're sustainable where it makes sense, right? We're about 94% sustainability, right? And we even our packaging is biodegradable. We really want to focus on this brand that really makes it's better for the world,
Yeah.
right? At the end of the day. And it's not about overconsumption. It's about buying something that's going to last a period of time. And there's enough marketplace for that, right?
Sure.
I'm a guy, I still have my first pair of Alphix that I've had since we started the company, and they look just as good as new,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say too, back to the larger sizes. I mean, one of the things that we heard from a lot of guys is it's hard to find them, right? And part of that goes back to the business model, where a lot of retailers buy things 2442, like in a size grid from small to large. And so if you're
Yep.
on the extreme of that, right? Whether it's extra small or double XL, you don't have as many choices,
Right.
And you can't measure what you didn't have, like from a planning standpoint. So if you never owned double XL, then you're not going to know the sales you missed because that guy couldn't buy it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
so that's kind of where we started.
That's cool. It's really paying attention to your customers for sure.
No, for sure. You got to listen to your customer base. You got to listen to the people who are buying your product and have conversations with them. And, all the time I'm having conversations with men about their underwear, whether I'm in a locker room at a gym and saying, oh, are those comfortable? Or like a guy that I'm sitting next to in first class on a plane. And the most random people, and having conversations of what matters to you in this. And again, the biggest thing is comfort, fit, and quality.
Yeah. That's great market research,
Yeah.
Garrett. Always talking about it. Assuming there's a lot of business owners here listening to this podcast, what advice would you have for somebody either in the clothing space or just in e-commerce in general? What could they look out to stay ahead of the curve for in this near future?
Right. So I think the biggest thing we've learned is to be flexible and nimble, and that's the benefit we have as a small company. I used to laugh at some of the larger companies that I worked for. If you wanted to add a color, it took, a year, and, it's hard to maneuver a big ship. Right. And so,
Right.
so we're able to be nimble and respond. And also I would say, and you even mentioned this, to stay close to your customers. I mean, one of the things I love, and as we grow, I don't want to lose this, is we interact with the customers, right? We provide, I like to think we provide incredible customer service. We don't use chatbots, because I personally hate them. We'll get back to you, and you're going to hear from either Garrett or myself. And it's amazing what we've been able to accomplish or what we've learned from guys. We love what we're doing, but we also recognize, we're not going to be right for everybody. Right? Like there's no one brand fits all. So while we love it and we think it's amazing, we know that it's not going to be right for everybody. So, if somebody reaches out and says, hey, I need a different size, or I really just don't like the way this feels or whatever, we're going to work with you. We're going to take care of you. And so, that's what I would say is really critical. And then also Garrett mentioned this idea of networking. We're just constantly always talking to people, other business owners. We like to pay it forward and give people advice based on what we've experienced, particularly in the e-commerce space, because the algorithms change constantly. And so the great news building this from the bottom up is that we don't have huge teams doing everything for us. So Garrett and I have had to learn a lot. So that's a lot of Google searches and ChatGPT and classes in Shopify. And someday we won't have to do that, right? But I love the fact that we're learning it from the bottom up as we go. And I would say that that's important.
Good advice. Good advice.
Get your hands dirty.
Absolutely.
Get your hands dirty and keep them dirty.
Wait, here's a quick story. When we got our first inventory and some of it got flown into JFK, by the time it would have gotten to Connecticut, it would have been another week. I went and I found out that it got cleared, got the paperwork, went to get a U-Haul, drove to JFK, picked up the boxes, and drove them up to Connecticut.
Nice.
Garrett was hanging with the Teamsters. It was awesome. But the one thing we learned is, because Garrett and I originally were picking and packing the product ourselves, my eyesight isn't so good. Navy and black can look an awful lot alike when you're
Sure.
so now we let the professionals do it. But yeah, we'll do whatever it takes.
That's awesome. You guys are fantastic. So look at what's next for your company immediately. Like what's going on?
Well,
what are you working on?
I think what we're focusing on is adding more categories. Underwear can only go so far, so we want to add more categories to our line of products. Again, really problems, a solution based, right? So it's about finding different fits and different comforts, keeping that same philosophy in mind, but get in and get in and get selected retail where it makes sense. Like go to like retail. We want to go to some retail places that make sense, and partnerships that we can in the future. But again, growing our line, getting ourselves out there a little bit more.
Yeah. So not Macy's.
No, I mean, I think we're trying to be very strategic on who we partner with. Like we really want to think this out really carefully because the department stores are not doing well either, right? And so we'd rather go into somewhere that's special that people are going to be more apt to supporting a small business, right? Yeah. Especially now with how our economy is, I think it's really important to shop small business, your local business. I'm starting to do that more and more and more, even as a consumer myself.
And I think to Garrett's point, not that we have anything against the department stores, obviously, but there's two things I would say that our target consumer, he prefers to shop online, right? We've done a lot of research on that. And the other thing is our story is important. And so, our worry is that if you go to, and listen, I was a buyer back in the day for a department store, they edit, they cherry pick, right? And so if they only buy small, medium, and large and black and navy, then then we're no different than anybody else, right? And so the importance of ALPHX is to have the sizes in the two leg widths. And if that's missing, then the story gets lost. So at least initially, being direct to consumer, we can control the narrative and really tell the ALPHX story.
That's awesome. So how can listeners get involved with you guys? What's the best places to find ALPHX and hear about ALPHX?
www.alphx.com. That's our website. You can check us out on social media at the ALPHX, right, Garrett? And help support us. We're a small business, so we could use the revenue because that helps us, invest in the things that we want to do. And you can also reach out to us at hey@alphx.com and give us your thoughts. We love to hear from people. And we pick people's brains. We'll reach out to customers. Hey, would you mind trying this and give us your feedback, etc. So that's how you can get involved.
And get people to sign up. We want people email sign up you'll get a discount code for signing up. And if we have any promotions or newsletters or anything that we're going to put out, and we're not ones to stalk you with newsletters. We put them out pretty diligently, but not obsessively. I've been having to unsubscribe to so many things that just they're just pummeling me with email,
No,
but
so true.
And then we have free shipping on orders over $50. So that's really a great thing too. So
that is
order 2 pairs, you free shipping.
Yeah. And we also, to Garrett's point, we also say every time we do something, it's what do we hate? What do we love about e-commerce and what do we hate? Nobody likes to be stalked. And so we only share the good things in terms of email and as I said about, we don't like chatbots that send you on circular references. So, we get back to you the old fashioned way via email within 24 hours. If it's the weekend, it'll be that Monday. But we try to eliminate all the things that we don't like and only emphasize the good stuff.
That's fantastic.
So if you fit better, you can feel better and be better.
Nice.
There you go.
Garrett is a total wordsmith. I love it.
Yeah.
I think
I give that one to Tom.
Well, that's a wrap, folks, on today's episode of Founder Freedom from Hustler to CEO. A huge thanks to Tom and Garrett for pulling back the curtain on what it really takes to disrupt a legacy category and for reminding us that comfort isn't one size fits all. From pinpointing the large gaps in traditional sizing to building a product that fits real bodies with real needs, Tom and Garrett and the ALPHX team are proving that innovation starts when you actually listen to your customer and care enough to do something better. If you're ready to experience a difference yourself, head over to alphix.com and find your perfect fit. And if you've got a friend who's still stuck in the pinch ride sag cycle, do them a favor and send them this episode. Want more stories like this? Be sure to follow, rate, and share Founder Freedom wherever you get your podcasts. Every listen helps us spotlight more founders rewriting the rules of business on their terms. Until next time, keep building smarter, not harder.